So let's get started because it's now 5 minutes past. So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And I'm going to run through this a little bit quickly because, of course, we're 5 minutes late because I've been talking too much again. But check your feet. They're so important for our balance. I think we don't quite appreciate until we actually hurt something. So just feel the feet on the floor, toes, the toe pads, the outer edges of the arches, and then the heels. Just lengthen your spine, be on top of your sits bones. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. Take a nice deep breath. And just bring your mind to this place of stillness. Check for any sounds in your environment. Check the thoughts that are arising, and just however it is you're turning up this evening, just know it's completely fine. If you need to categorize your thoughts, put them on a nice white cloud and allow them to float away, you may do that, or if it's helpful. And then just briefly bring to mind all those people of your life, the ones you love, the ones you don't love, and the ones who are strangers for us, knowing they can change place at any time. And they're all equal. They wish to be happy. They wish to be free from suffering and in having this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So just remembering, again, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. Sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason we're regretting is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor. So we're not looking here at some kind of higher power. We're looking at a doctor who has medicine that we can use to heal ourselves. In this case, Vajrasattva. So also Vajrasattva, this image is really quite detailed. So, if you're not exactly a visualizer, you can just sort of imagine something similar to that on the crown of your head, facing the same way as you, but it's made of light. not paint on a canvas. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long, shaped like lotus petals, and they're full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. No critical thoughts, no judgments, just exactly how you are turning up tonight is exactly what is fine, what Vajrasattva is looking for. So his arms are crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a Vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently, in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. So remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because they are going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy. This is the actual medicine, doing this practice, visualizing light and reciting the mantra. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. I think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is the purification of our speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So it kind of is pushed up quite forcefully. It doesn't just kind of gently overflow. And you can just imagine, there was one analogy Lama Yeshe used to use, is when you turn on the tap in a sink and fill a dirty glass, you know, particularly like milk or yogurt, it kind of all comes to the top. All that kind of milky residue just floats to the top and overflows. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all our inappropriate speech, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Hum Pe Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. So again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body. Oh, I'm going to the wrong one. Now we're into, beg your pardon. Now we're into the mind. But first of all, feel so happy that your speech is completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech, even yourself. So just imagine that friend who is in need. Maybe they're depressed or they have a problem. You just imagine that you have the wisdom to know what should come out of your mouth. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe silence is the thing that will help them in that moment. So next, the mind. Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. This arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So again, as you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So the same here, with the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment, neediness, grasping, bitterness, grudges, insecurities, depression, all of this instantly dispelled. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. So be completely delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And you can imagine that Vajrasattva sends, again, light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of this kind of negative energy from the mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita Dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita Dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita Dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita Dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified. Just imagine how it would be. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth step in the purification process. It's a really crucial one. And this is the determination to not harm with our body, our speech, and our mind. So nothing is going to happen unless we make a decision for it to happen. We don't get up and move out of our chair. We don't send an email. We don't book a holiday. None of that happens without intention. We decide, this is what I'm going to do. So here we decide, I don't want to harm. I want to refrain from harming. And it becomes like a beacon that guides us in new directions. So I think, first of all, the things that you have been doing, that have been working on, whether it's dealing with anger or jealousy or whatever it is you've been working on, whether it's your speech, and rejoice in your efforts. How amazing. Look how far you've come. Up in Lauder, Anila said what they do is they always, when they're resting, they turn around and look at where they've come from, rather than looking up the mountain to see how far they have yet to go. So there's quite a bit of wisdom in that, because it's quite hard trekking around up there. So if you turn around and rest and look, oh, wow, I came all that way. How amazing. So we think like that here too, and rejoice. So this determination to not do again gives us the strength to change. So Vajrasattva, imagine, is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, Rinpoche recommended to meditate on this emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while, and we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. So you can also think the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And as we've been doing, if you have, any teachers, You include in your practice a wish for them to live long. So we think of maybe His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then think for swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, unmistaken reincarnation. And then maybe for some of you have Geshe-la as their teacher, some of you have Venerable Rabina as your teacher. Just have a wish in your heart for them to live a long time so they can continue to guide us. All right, everybody, lots of love. Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting. I'm sure if it was Michael, thank you.